Hey guys! Welcome to the channel. Since the bullet journal theme this month is plant/greenhouse, instead of making something that has leaves, I thought it would be fun to make a mushroom. So let's get into it. If you haven't already read the title, I'm making a mushroom beret. During the semester, I've learned to crochet and I've been making a lot of stuff ever since. I already made this little crochet cactus for my desk and I just wanted to share it because it matches the theme. I'm not really gonna teach you how to make this step by step because I was also following a tutorial by Winding Road Crochet, and if future me is able to remember, I'll leave the pattern link in the comments. I have 3 colors of yarn, a red, a white, and a light beige off-white color because I'm making a toadstool. That's the red mushroom with the dots. My yarn was just yarn I got off Shopee, so is everything I used to crochet. I'll be working on the normal adult-size beret pattern, but for those of you who want to copy what I'm doing, I changed my yarn color from red to beige for rows 3 and 4 of part 3, then continued the beret with the beige yarn. The white dots I added later on, so that's not part of the original pattern. Since I'll be answering questions for the rest of the video, if you're trying to recreate this, the dots are made after the beret is done. They're basically different sizes of a circle coaster pattern. Didn't really use a tutorial for that, so you can search that up if you want to know how I made it. Then I just sewed it onto the beret with the tail ends of the yarn to attach it. By the way, don't be scared when you see me pulling the yarn apart because I made a bunch of mistakes trying to make this thing. I usually crochet when I need to go watch documentaries or other videos for class, so sometimes it gets a bit heavy on the brain. So thank you all of you for 100 subs. It really means a lot that people look forward to my videos and talking about things that I like. So I thought it would be nice to commemorate it with a Q&A so you guys can learn more about who I am. Thing is, I made a mistake while publishing my video last week, and so the comments were accidentally turned off until Wednesday, so I didn't really expect to get any questions at that point. Improvise time, so I asked people that I knew for some questions, so family members, friends, org mates. These are in random order so topics can jump. Now onto the questions. First question, what shows am I currently watching? Well, I'm the type of person who uses anime as a way to relax and also as a reward system, so I watch a lot of different shows. I've been watching anime weekly as well as having a binge anime to watch when there's no scheduled release for that day. So right now my binge anime is Jujutsu Kaisen because I was watching a lot of shows already when it came out. I'm using it as a quick break from watching Naruto, which I've been watching since March. For Naruto, I'm on episode 113 if you're curious. Then the shows I've been watching weekly are The Flash, My Hero Season 5, 7 Deadly Sins, Osamake, Fairy Ranmaru, Bakuten, and Pretty Boy Detective Club. The titles this season aren't as well known as last anime season, but I'm really enjoying Bakuten and Pretty Boy Detective Club. Second question. Do my parents know about the channel? Yes, they do. They can actually hear me record my voiceovers and hear my commentary for study mode because we share a room. They're actually in the other room right now. You can occasionally see them walk by in the background sometimes if you look closely. I don't think they watch the videos though. They knew from the beginning that I was planning to start a channel, but I told them that if they're not interested in the content, then don't watch it. I don't want them watching because they feel an obligation to support me. I want them to watch because they like the topics of the videos that I make. It just doesn't sit right with me that if people watch my videos because of their loyalty to me and not the enjoyment of what I make. Same goes for my other relatives. Only a select few of them know I make these videos because I don't want my subscriber count to come from people who just want to click subscribe because they know me. For me, that's the equivalent of just having free, quote-unquote, fake subscribers because I know that the content I make isn't applicable to everyone. If you want to start a channel and you want to tell it to your entire clan, then you do you. I just want to see my engagement compared to my actual sub count, and it's just more fulfilling for me if people sub to the channel because of the content that I make and not necessarily because it's something that I made. Okay, so third question, how long does it take me to make a video? I make a bunch of different videos, so I'll try to go over all of those. If it's a study tips video, it takes me about 6 to 8 hours total to make a script because I need to make sure that the tips are useful and that I've explained them well. Shooting footage takes about 2 to 3 hours, then I can record a voiceover in about 30 minutes. Editing is about 4 to 6 hours, especially when I need to make the word art titles and animate the drawings. Thumbnail stuff is about 20 minutes max because I just take the photos, add my special filters, and do a really minimalist thumbnail for the study tips anyway. Study mode is the Minecraft series and I actually record it weekly. I make it a point to announce the date and time every time we record so you can see for yourself how much time I've used up. On average, each recording session is about 2 to 3 hours, but I sometimes have a 3 to 4 hour prep/planning session before recording so I don't spend all my time resource gathering. Editing it before took a lot of time because I wanted to give myself options, so I'd have time lapses, I'd have jump cuts, but now I've streamlined my entire process because it's a more casual series now instead of showing you everything I do kind of series. Before it took an entire day to edit, but now it just takes about 2 to 3 hours. DIY videos are hard to gauge. It really depends on the project. The JoJo earrings took a long time because I started working on them in February to only continue them in May. The custom hairpins were done in a span of 2 to 3 days. This beret was about 2 to 3 days worth. I just try to fit it in where I can, and sometimes multitasking doesn't hurt either. Most of my time spent making the thing. Then it's a good 3 to 4 hour estimate to make the script, 30 minutes for the voiceover again, then maybe another 3 to 4 hours to edit. I take 3 to 4 hours to actually make the script because I have to go over the footage that I have and then talk about it chronologically. The plan with me's are a lot more complicated. I do a lot more prep behind the scenes before I start recording. I usually take about 3 to 4 hours to prep because I need the concept, the inspiration, and then the sketching. I'm also trying not to buy as many stationery, so I need to know what works with what I have. Recording itself can take days. Each recording session is about 3 to 4 hours, and it takes about 4 to 5 sessions to complete a recording sometimes. Scripting and the voiceover takes a normal 3 to 4 hours because, like the DIY videos, I have to go over the footage and actually script with the footage chronologically. Then editing is a good 2 to 3 hours since a bunch of it is just syncing the time-lapse to the voiceover. I think this is the fourth question. How are you so organized? Okay. For organization, I haven't always been this way. When I left my course in computer science and became a non-major, I really wanted to use that year I had to really figure out what things I did wrong and what I can do about it. A big part of that was figuring out how I want to keep track of my subjects, how I organize my class notes, and just how I study in general. That's the short version of it. The background of the story is probably gonna come later when the non-major story has finally come to a close. For the next one, a bunch of people actually ask me for my study playlist and what's on it. So if you want to see my study playlist, they're usually in the description of my videos. The ones I link below are my musical playlist and my musical instrumentals playlist. I usually use the study instrumentals for brain-heavy work and the normal musicals playlist for more creative work so I can enjoy the experience. The only brain-heavy work that I use for musicals with lyrics is reviewing flashcards for exams, because I found out that my brain remembers topics along with the songs, so it's just a lot easier for me to remember the information if I have the song to go with it. I have more playlists, but I don't want to expose my music tastes on the internet just yet. Okay, this is question number 6. Most helpful apps for online learning. Well, the ones I've been using right now are Notion, Quizlet, and Workona. I've been talking about the first 2 apps for a while now. I use Notion for my org work and keeping track of my classes. Hopefully, if I can plan it properly, I'd be able to come out with a Notion video next week. Quizlet is something I've been using since high school, but I've been using it lately to have vocabulary drills for my Japanese class. I don't really have those conversations with my classmates like you would do in a normal language class, so I've really been making sure that I know my vocabulary and conjugation so I can work on my grammar more when making the worksheets. Workona is something I only discovered recently. It's a Chrome extension that can separate your tabs into workspaces and it categorizes them. I really need it since I have so many tabs in different things that I need to do. I have one for my classes, for my Japanese class specifically, my channel, and even my org work. All the tabs are considered open, but you can really see what tabs you have in the workspace that you have open. It really helps me since I can have up to 30 tabs open at one time since I have to juggle a lot. So my tasks can be pretty sporadic, so at one moment I can be working on a class, and then the next moment I have to work on a script, and then someone messages me out of nowhere asking for some updates about stuff for my org, so I also have to jump between those. So having that organization with even my tabs actually really helps a lot. Okay, question number 7. How do I stay motivated? So for this one, I'm planning to shift into a course, so I really need to make my grades as high as possible so I can compete with those who don't have failing grades like I do. If you're curious, I have 3 failed subjects in college. I don't really know how profs are gonna grade me and everything, so I need to give them the best that I can offer, because I don't want to give them a reason to give me grades any lower than a 1.25, which is around 92 to 95 in numerical terms. Another reason is that I have this weird mentality that I always need to be proving myself capable to everyone. I've always been my own marketing team. I don't know what other opportunities might spring up from this one thing, so I better make it good. I'm also a really competitive person, so I tend to push myself extra hard when I find something kind of like a rival in the class, which sometimes backfires because I get too into it and push myself too hard. But most of the time, if I make sure to regulate myself well enough, I can kind of see it as more of a healthy competition rather than I need to destroy you kind of competition. Next question. Oh yeah, speaking of pushing myself too much, how do you know what time you should rest and when you should work? So when I was planning out my schedule, I took a lot of it actually from my pre-pandemic schedule. My nap time now is the time I usually spend going home from class, which is around 4 p.m. Then when I get home around 5:30, I take a nap until dinner. Since I have scheduled things around 4 p.m. sometimes, like org work or classes, I can delay the nap time to around 5 to 5:30 because I know that I used to be able to still finish my work on time even if I do nothing on my ride home, so I can expect the same from me now. I also have a pre-work chill session at 8 a.m., then a post-lunch mini break from 12 to 12:30 usually. For me, taking a break is understanding where you can give the time and when you need the break. If I know that my brain would be dead by 4 p.m., I schedule my nap time there. I can't go from getting up to working right away, so I have to have a buffer zone there. I get pretty lazy to get back to work right after lunch, so I have another break there. This isn't really that intense of a rule for me, because if I need to, I can keep working even if it's time for break, but I do make sure that I have at least one long break in the day just for my own sanity, which usually happens right before I sleep. If I happen to have a headache or if I get dizzy, I give myself a quick break as well so I can make sure that I can still give my best. Because the problem I see with giving your best is that a lot of people think it's just pushing yourself to your limits all the time. You just ignore pain and just keep going, but I don't really believe that's the case. Pushing yourself too hard today might lead you to not being able to do your best the next day, or even the next week. So it's super important for me to have that balance of knowing my capabilities and when I can keep pushing and knowing when I need the rest. So the next question is, can you share one thing that God's been teaching you these past weeks? So if you don't already know, I'm a Christian and it's a pretty big part of my life, honestly. Don't click away. I'm not gonna be all preachy, or at least I hope so. But recently, God's been teaching me that with Him, I'm more capable than I expect and I'm made for more than I think. Work lately has been piling on and somehow I'm still able to make it through without submitting anything late or falling behind that far. I pray for wisdom and guidance every day, committing my workload, and it's really been something that's helped me see myself differently as someone who's able to do all these things and being able to focus on what I can do, especially as someone with a surprisingly low self-esteem. And so the next question on my list was someone asking about my hair dye process. So if you've seen my thumbnails for the JoJo earrings, the No Talk vlog, and this video, you would know that my hair is colored. It was all done at home with stuff we could buy off Shopee and the guide of YouTube. My hair was first bleached in February. We used the Khaleesi bleach powder with the 12% pre-mod oxidizer/developer. Made the mistake of bleaching my hair 5 times. My hair is straight up white, but when the color's gone, there's damage. Just a quick warning. Certain parts of my hair have honestly broken off because I bleached them too much, and some are super elastic and stretchy, and they stretch really far when it's wet. I have pretty thick hair, so it doesn't really look that different. So I touched up my roots recently, and I use the same bleach powder but with the 12% Khaleesi developer. For the color, I used Cello Wax. It's a temporary color that's supposed to last for 2 weeks, but since my hair is burned and super bleached, it can last way longer than that. My blue hair lasted me 2 months since it was more pigmented than when I colored it originally purple. You can use the color as it is, but for pastel shades, you can dilute it in conditioner, which is what I usually do. It's a lot less damaging than normal permanent hair color because most that it does is just stain your hair but not put pigment in the hair. Then it just washes off over time. I'm not a professional, as made obvious by me bleaching my hair to death, but this is just personal experience. So the next question is, what DIY projects do you want to do in the future and what skills do you want to learn next? So these are 2 different questions for 2 different people, but I've combined them because my answer for both is pretty similar. I've learned a lot of different skills over the years. I used to do rainbow loom, I used to cross stitch, make friendship bracelets, and now I learned to crochet. So the main thing I want to learn is actually sewing clothes. I am able to sew, embroider, and do some basic repairs here and there, but I want to be able to make clothes from scratch, or at least learn how to alter up clothes. Because, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of thrift flips lately, and it just seems really cool to be able to repurpose some old clothes. Another skill I want to learn is working with foam to make props. I don't really have access to foam right now, and there's nothing I can use it for at the moment, so that's more on the back burner. With those 2 combined, it's actually shaping up to be my ultimate DIY project, which is a cosplay entirely from scratch. No idea what the character is gonna be. It's just been a dream of mine to make an entire cosplay from scratch. I've made cosplays before, but they were built off other pieces, and I just made the accessories and altered a bit of the base that I bought, but nothing that I've fully done myself. So it would be such a good achievement if I'm able to make it, and maybe I'll even show it off on this channel. Second to the last question, or set of questions, these are actually a lot. So this person asks, how many orgs am I a part of? How and when did I get in? Do you recommend getting into an org early in college? And how am I able to get the connections, paid jobs, and leadership positions? Okay, so that's a lot of questions, and I'll try to take it one at a time. I'm currently a member of 2 orgs, but I'm only active in 1. I'm not gonna reveal which orgs they are because I don't want to be stalked. I consider my org work to be an extra 3-unit subject in my week, and the maximum unit load in UP is 21 units. So if I'm taking an 18-unit class, then, or not exactly 18-unit class, but more of 18 units of classes, then I can only be active in 1 org. The org I'm inactive in was an org I applied for in my first sem of college. Then the org I talk about when I talk about my org work was an org I applied for second sem school year 1920, which is basically the sem that the pandemic shut down everything. For the right time of getting into orgs, it really depends on how you are. I wanted to join early because I wanted to learn how to cope in college with an org instead of figuring out how I do things and then trying to add the org on top of it. I knew I wanted to join orgs for the socialization and the community. If you want to join one, my advice is join early. Your first year subjects are always the easiest, and applying to an org can get busy. When you're in, you can always go inactive when you're really expecting work to get heavy. You won't really get kicked as long as you tell them about how busy you are. For the connections and leadership positions part, it boils down to 2 things for me. First is you. If there's a thing you want to do and they're looking for people to do it, just volunteer for it. Don't waste your time just sitting there waiting for someone to notice that you want it. Straight up tell them that you want it, because 9 times out of 10, no one's gonna notice that you want it, and you'll just end up sulking in a corner because no one picked you for anything. Playing hard to get doesn't work on leadership positions. Right now, I'm the vice head of the membership committee. I wanted to have a deeper look into how the org functions and get more leadership experience, so when they asked for vice head applications, of course, I applied. And then, now I got the job. Second is your work ethic. Once you're assigned somewhere, whether it just be a member or a slightly higher position, show them that you're reliable. Show them that you're someone that can produce excellent work and give it to them on time. Show them what you can really do. Sometimes volunteering wouldn't work because you haven't shown them that you're capable yet. There are certain things that you can get with just asking for it, but there are some bigger positions that need more proof. This is how I got the full headship of my org's big event for the year, and my work there led me to a paid volunteer coordinator thing that I got last month. It all goes back to what I said earlier. I don't know what other things may come from this thing that I'm doing, so I better make it good. And that's just really how I try to show that I'm capable for leadership positions. To close this video out on a lighter note, someone was asking about my best girls and waifus. Okay, just a quick clarification. Yes, I do have characters that are waifus and best girls, but not in the way people usually think of it. My favorite characters are usually those who I feel I'm most like, want to be like, or just female characters I find cool, not necessarily characters I want to be with. So, if you might be thinking that there's a contradiction there with my faith, there isn't. So back to the question. They were asking for all-time favorites, but I can't just pick one. So all of these are just best girls because waifus are hard to settle on and they can get divisive. So listing them out, there's Alice from Food Wars, Yotsuba from Quintessential Printables, Hestia from Danmachi, Diane or Diane, I'm not sure because Japanese pronunciations, from Seven Deadly Sins, Mai and Futaba from Bunny Girl Senpai, I can't pick between the two, Momo from My Hero Academia, Philo from Shield Hero, Kaguya from Kaguya-sama. I actually like all the girls from Kaguya-sama, but I'm most like Kaguya. Sally from Bofuri, Olivier from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Charmy from Black Clover, because just the photo of her going, "Where's the food?" That's just me all the time. Umaru from Umaru, Lisa from JoJo Part 2, Albedo from Overlord, Cynthia from Great Pretender, Megumin from Konosuba, Yumeko from Kakegurui, Mafuyu from Blend S, Elma from Dragon Maid, it's the food thing again, Maki from Fire Force, Shiro from No Game No Life, and the last one I can think of right now is Shinobu from Demon Slayer. I'm sure there's a lot more, but those are the ones I can name off the top of my head. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys again for 100 subs. I look forward to continuing to post videos on this channel and getting to interact with you guys a lot more. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, suggestions for videos you'd like to see, or just stuff you want me to make, just feel free to leave them in the comments. If you found this video interesting, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!